Okay, my favorite topic, learning. I'll try and keep this tight. It's never easy. So much to say, so much that I think is important and that really doesn't get thought about. So I'll start with the first I, which is individual. How often genuinely do we really truly show we recognize that individuals, people that are specific, that are unique, that are special, have development needs? Do we just herd people into rooms because they seem to have generally the same development needs? Yes, we do. Let's admit it. And let's try, please, to get more focus on individuals. That's where it matters most. That's where the payoff is. That's the return on investment, not the administrative, the convenient, massing people into rooms and then wondering why nothing happens afterwards. Please, individuals. So I am moving quickly. I may well cover this in more depth another time. Intrinsic. This is also important because learning is not training. Training is when you do group people together and push them into a room and tell them the same things, even though only perhaps 2 in every 15 have got a particular interest, desire, and need in that area. So intrinsic means that all work, indeed all of life, has learning. And let's get big on this. So if we recognize that all work, informal, everyday, unintentionally developmental work is indeed full of potential learning, then it's massive. We can help people. We can help people to make sense of the chaotic, haphazard, accidental nature of their true learning and development. We don't get most of our learning and the enhancement of performance by sitting on a chair being told things. We get that by making sense of real work and turning it into a development experience. It's all there. We all say things like, oh yes, every day's a learning day, every day's a school day, you learn something every day. Well, what did you learn on the 16th of, I don't know, October 1990 something, in my case 1980 something? The more aware we become that real work is truly genuinely developmental, the more likely it is we'll make sense of it. So I'm already making this a bit more detailed than I thought I would. So iterative, this is a word I didn't understand when it was first given to me back in ages ago time. So I looked it up. It means you go forward a bit, you might go back, you might actually go back further than when you started, then you go forward again, forward a bit more, back, forward, forward, back. It's not linear. Learning is not linear. We don't learn something, then something different and better, then something better still, then we keep going on a graph that's ever upward. It isn't the case. Learning is iterative. It takes effort. It takes the persistence to overcome problems and obstacles, the confusion, the frustration. And that iterative process is something I think we who help people to learn need to understand better. We need to help people who are learning to understand that process, and we ourselves need to understand it better in order to help people to overcome the problems and to maintain the motivation to get to where they want. So learning is an iterative process. You go up, you go back, you have another go. It takes persistence. The last one I've got here, deliberately so, is incremental. For me, the best sort of learning is not massive leaps, which are unsustainable. It's small, sustainable movements that are of most value. So if we understand that learning is incremental, we need also to draw comfort from the fact that we're only moving very often in small steps at a time, and that those small steps are meaningful. They gain momentum. They build into something bigger. I sometimes say that learning is like an onion skin. It consists of very many apparently insignificant on their own layers. Learning's like that. We don't always draw the value we could from a learning experience because we don't recognize its value. It looks very commonplace. It looks like something that isn't significant. In truth, it builds on a process. So there's my 4 I's of learning. Individual, concentrating on individuals. Intrinsic, recognizing that most development comes from the workplace and from life, not from organized events. Iterative, it isn't linear. You need to keep nibbling at it. You need to keep going at it and sustaining your motivation. And incremental, small sustainable steps over great big ones. So where does that leave me? It leaves me with my last slide, which says, and if you listen to this, it is just 2 slides. There's where to find more on me and this sort of stuff at my website, my podcast and my YouTube channel. And if you have an interest in learning, like I have and have sustained into my 5th decade in the learning business, I'm always interested to hear from you. I hope that helps.